Welcome, friends. Let me share to you my personal analysis on Noah's flood found in Genesis chapter 6, verses 26, down to chapter 9, verses 1 to 17. First, the flood was universal. In the progress of time, after the flood, the descendants of Noah grew in number. They were the people who continued civilization in earth. Thus, I believe that all human race can be traced back to the survivors of the universal deluge. Simply basing our point on the Bible, there is no doubt that Noah's flood was universal. Genesis chapter 8, verse 20 to 21 says, Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and took of every clean animal and of every clean bird, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. Verse 21, And the Lord smelled the soothing aroma, and the Lord said to himself, I will never again curse the ground on account of men, for the intent of man's heart is evil from his youth. And I will never again destroy every living thing as I have done. Secondly, in Genesis chapter 9, verse 7, God said, And as for you, be fruitful and multiply, populate the earth abundantly and multiply in it. In verse 8 and 9 says, Then God spoke to Noah and to his sons with saying, verse 9, Now behold, I myself do establish my covenant with you and with your descendants after you. Verse 11, And I establish my covenant with you, and all flesh shall never again be cut off by the water of the flood, neither shall there again be a flood to destroy the earth. Verse 12, And God said, This is the sign of the covenant which I am making between me and you and every living creature that is with you for all successive generations. Verse 13, I set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a sign of a covenant between me and the earth. Verse 14, And it shall come about when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud. Verse 15, And I will remember my covenant which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh, and never again shall the water become a flood to destroy all flesh. Verse 16, When the bow is in the cloud, then I will look upon it to remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth. Verse 17, And God said to Noah, This is the sign of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is on the earth. Another significant proof that Noah's flood was universal is the presence of the bow or the rainbow as a covenant sign that God will no longer repeat the flood in our modern time. But until today, and possibly in the days to come, a localized flood were still happening in different parts of the world due to climate change caused by global warming caused by man. But Noah's flood was caused by God. The universal flood was also a universal warning to all mankind that God will not tolerate wickedness to prevail in earth. But after the flood, the people keeps on sinning. Sin is a product of man's depraved nature. Okay. Another example that God will not allow man to go on sinning was the biblical account of Sodom and Gomorrah, found in Genesis chapter 19. Because of the wickedness of the people in that city, God rained fire and brimstone, thus burned that city. Only Lot and his daughters was saved. But Lot's wife, who turned her back to the burning city, becomes a pillar of salt. Of course, modern archaeology discovered its location and has proven that Sodom and Gomorrah's fire was real. Secondly, parallel history. A parallel history was prophesied by the Lord Jesus Christ in the records of Saint Matthew in chapter 24, verse 37 to 39. For the coming of the Son of Man will be just like the days of Noah. Verse 38. For as in those days which were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, they were marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark. Verse 39. And they did not understand until the flood came and took them all away. So shall the coming of the Son of Man be. From the Open Bible. In Noah's time, God flooded the whole earth by flood of enormous water. But on the second coming of the Lord Jesus Christ, God will burn the whole earth. But the day of the Lord will come like a thief, in which the heavens will pass away with a roar, and the elements will be destroyed with intense heat, and the earth and its works will be burnt up. 2 Peter 3, verses 9 to 10.